this point, we are ready for the next section, which is table topic. We have a special person to head our table topic tonight, Mr. Keith Herring. Please welcome our Keith Herring.
Thank you, Phil. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests, friends. Everywhere you go, everywhere you turn, you hear the term fake news. By a show of hands, who has heard of this phrase, fake news? Now I'm going to ask you the next question. What is it?
CNN.
CNN. Okay, there we go.
CNN.
Under a minute. Let's look at what the internet says about fake news. Because you know, of course, the internet clearly isn't fake. Fake news is a type of yellow journalism or propaganda that consists of deliberate misinformation or hoaxes spread via traditional print and broadcast news media, or even online social media. Fake news is written and published with the intent to mislead in order to damage an agency, entity, or person, or gain financially or politically. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, that's wide open for fake news. Almost everybody's trying to make a buck.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the real news. The National Enquirer, which we all know, by definition, can or cannot be fake news. Toastmaster Matt. On the cover of this fine magazine, it says, new documents reveal why the KGB tried to kill Oswald. Do you believe in conspiracies, Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. Toastmasters, most welcome guest. Do I believe in conspiracies? I would have to say yes, it depends on the conspiracy. But then we could go back to a lawyering definition of one of my favorite ex-presidents, and that depends on what your definition of a conspiracy is, right? I think the real problem here goes back to a fundamental flaw in the way that we all process information. Now, I'm not going to get political, but let's say, for instance, pretend I was a Republican, right? Pretend that I listen to Fox News all the time. And I would have a certain set of assumptions that I would believe to be true, and I would cherry pick my favorite fact and say this supports what I believe. And if you, as a CNN listener, were to approach me with this fact, I would just dismiss it and say your fact is insufficient, it is unlikely, and therefore I will not entertain the idea. And this is absolutely no different from the way the other side of the aisle presents it. To which point someone could say, well, I accuse Hillary Clinton of doing X, Y, Z. And the person on the opposite side of the aisle would say, well, that's a conspiracy. To which point they would say, well, I believe in Russian collusion. And someone would say, well, that's a conspiracy. So in essence, I would say anyone who has grandiose thoughts about things that they really don't know, because I would assume everyone in this room operates based on circumstantial evidence and assumptions. We are all conspiracy theorists, I'm sad to say. But I do kind of enjoy it a bit. Thank you.
Look at this fine paper, isn't it, about conspiracies? Toastmaster Frank Koch. Interestingly enough, there's a little article in here about Kirstie Alley hoarding food for the end of the world.
Hoarding.
That's very scary that the end of the world is coming. Frank, tell us what you would do if you knew you had 3 months until boom.
Okay, so you bring up Kirstie Alley. I'm 37 years old. Since I was about 8 years old, I've seen Kirstie Alley's name in the National Enquirer, talking about her supposed problems with food. So that's what struck me first. Now, what would I do if I had 3 months until the end of the world? I would do nothing different. I would continue every single day living, working, taking care of what I need to take care of, and loving my family. And the reason I say that is because what if 3 months and one day happened and it wasn't the end of the world? well, I would really feel foolish, and I would really regret not doing what I enjoy doing, because everything that I do each day, I try and do things that I enjoy. And what am I going to enjoy more? Going to Las Vegas? I don't know, maybe, but it's not something that would be that really enters my mind. So if I had 3 months to live, if the world was going to end in 3 months, I would try and attend every Toastmasters meeting, every single one, from there on out. Thank you. Thank
You don't live near me, because if the end of the world was coming, you would know it as I ran down the street naked. Meryl Streep, according to this fine magazine, is apparently going blind. She's going blind. Wow. Blind. Barry, could you please describe for us a beautiful sunset if we were all blind?
Beautiful sunset if we were all blind. How do I know I'm blind? But it's yellow. The sun is shining. I'm not going to look up on it, because why should I be like the rest of you? And the sky is blue, the clouds are white, the sun is bright golden yellow. That would be beautiful, but I'd rather divulge. As far as that National Enquirer is concerned and fake news, I'm pulling a Mitch. The National Enquirer is very hard to believe, as much as you would like to. For example, I remember one of the front page headlines was O.J. Simpson dying in 6 months. That was 4 years ago. So, fake news is only in Donald Trump's mind. And fake news is what's believable in Donald Trump's mind. And you could tell that Donald Trump has a very high regard for fake news, because practically every week there's something about him in the National Enquirer. So you think of him and you think of the National Enquirer. And they're two of a kind. Both fake news and wishful thinking that they were fake news. Excellent
job. Excellent job. Toastmaster Ken Coombs. Interestingly enough,